Invader Zim is a series I covered before, but one of the things that I never touched was the comics. You see, with Invader Zim getting cancelled, there was a lot of concepts that didn't make it to the show. Like whole episodes practically being recorded but never animated because of the show getting cancelled. So, we're going to be touching on the comics, and no, I will not be including the mini-stories that come with it. With that being said, let's dive in. So the beginning of the comic is about Dib getting fat and now he's glued to his chair, but it quickly goes into a different plot, with Zim wanting to jump code to something called the Galactic A-Ray. Zim has threatened to kill his kids unless he gives it to him, which no, I'm not joking, that actually happens. But he tells him about a historian he needs to go see. Then you know the usual, Dib gets back into shape. It's just a scene from the movie with Zim watching TV and not doing anything. This is really similar to the last Florbus. Then Zim goes to meet the historian, and then Dib goes to attack ship. So what I'm picking up from this is that the comic book stories are not kin to the animated stories. With that being said, Tack Ship, instead of being angry towards Dib, actually lets him cook, which is a change from the show and the movie, but it's a welcome one. It's a nice change of pace. Zim meets the historian and Dib has no real plan to stop Zim. First issue. It does a good job having characters besides Tack being faithful to the show. But maybe it's just me, but it's distracting because I watched the movie first before I ever picked up the comics. Because they took parts from the comics and put it in the movie, and I don't know, it just kind of bugs me. And the art style looks amazing. This one starts off right where the last one left off, with Dib going to a tourist attraction to trying to find Zim, and for some reason they have a load of cash to buy a shitload of stuff. Zim gets a jump code from the historian by buying into capitalism. Dib does the same and catches up with Zim. And Dib has no real plan, so he just tackles him. And the right isn't destroy the earth, it's to send Dib's workout tape to everybody while he was fat, to everyone in the universe. And I like that detail, because that is something Zim would do. He would do some petty shit like that. Like, remember that one episode where he tricked Dib into thinking he made it by catching him, and he just wanted Dib to admit he threw that thing at him? It's a bit anticlimactic, but it's funny. Overall, a good issue. In this issue, Zim finds out about this thing called the Star Donkey. No, not that donkey. To summon the donkey, he needs to construct temples across the city, and which he does by posing as paparazzi.
Hey, good morning, Kanye.
Shut the fuck up.
No, I'm kidding. He goes as an artist. I just want a reason to use that one clip. He disguises the temples as a giant art piece, and people are going along with it to not seem stupid to his vision. Which reminds me of another one. Anyways, Dib goes to stop him and finds out Zim needs the sugar cube to activate the temples, and then Zim finds out and puts him in the artist-hater's closet. I guess you can say he was stuck in the closet. Dib fails to take the sugar cube from Zim, in which he uses it, and the Star Donkey kicks Earth into the sun and killing everybody including Zim. This one is about the tallest fucking with Zim after he mistakes garbage they sent him for something super important, and they are entrusting him with it, saying it's a super weapon. By doing painful tasks, he will make it more powerful. And not gonna lie, I really do not like this strip. I don't know. It's just not my cup of tea. I don't know, this just isn't my type of humor. Anyways, it's all as fuck up after Zim sends it back over, and it's not the best. Overall, not the best. It's at least passable, so I'll give it that. With that being said, moving on. This one is focused on Dib and Gaz, and Gaz is a gamer. And this is full of a bunch of gaming references, which is okay, and that's really the whole plot. Lord Vakarot explains that he's not a gamer but is an NPC. You see why I don't like this issue? It ends with Dib beating Gaz in a round and she throws him against the wall. And that's overall it. I will give it a broken marriage out of 10. This one is a skip. This one is just to answer questions for the series like where would Zim get a bank loan from? And why would he even need money? Can't he just steal? But then again, Zim isn't the brightest, so yeah. And how long can Zim last looking for a shoe before the universe implodes? I really don't care for this one, it's okay, that's really it. The main thing carrying this one in my opinion is Dib and Gur. Their interactions are good. Even in bad plots they're still good characters, so that's what carries it for me. Overall it's okay. This one is about Zim landing on a planet, and the liquid coming from his ship is causing the planet's rapid evolution. And we just see Zim and Gur trying to escape with these germ-looking things worshipping Zim, in which he goes with them. And they're basically begging him to destroy them, in which, damn, that got dark fast. Anyway, Zim kills them, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, it's a good one. This one focuses on Dib. Apparently, from what I found, this is based on a scrapped episode that never made it to the actual series. It's about evil parents taking over the world, and we got introduced to this girl named Gronya. No, I'm not making a joke, that's her name. I'm tempted to make a joke, but I'm not gonna make it. Anyways, Zim invites the alien space parents, in which I think I have to blur that. But Zim plans on destroying them as soon as they made everyone crippled with no legs. But Dib teams up with the Pan's Queen because she mistook him for a leader and defeats Zim, and then Zim uses the button to kill the space pants and everything goes back to normal. Overall, it's okay. This one is about Dib disguising himself as an alien to trick Zim so he can get footage and he can upload it to Reddit, and offers to be an intern. Then Dib starts working for Zim and does a bunch of awful stuff as you expected. But Zim rewards the fake alien Dib with helping him kidnap people. And he decides to kidnap the people who called his video fake. Then Dib gets the video of Zim's lair and no one believes him still. Overall, I like this one. It leaned towards the comedy, which I liked in Zim media, so it's overall good. This one is about a kid bringing a snake to a talent show, winning. So Zim wants to bring this one alien beast from an alien planet to show who's the real winner, because he thinks that they might give him ownership of the planet by bringing this giant beast. Anyways, Dib overhears this and gets trapped to Zim's ship, in which they go to the planet. Zim catches the beast and he brings it to Earth, but people only care about Dib's cat. And that's overall it. Plot is about Zim finding out Dib has an allergic reaction to cats. So Zim creates a robot cat to mess with him, but it doesn't affect him because of fur. So it does nothing to him. So he fakes to be a vet so he can steal people's pets and launch them at Dib. But Dib wins by drinking anti-allergies, and then that's basically it. Overall, it's okay, it's passable, but not really much. There's a future where Zim wins and Dib tries to go back in time to prevent this, and just gets captured, with Zim waiting for 6 months to meet future Zim. Anyways, future Zim thinks Zim is a moron, in which the tallest improve of future Zim than the actual Zim. So Zim gets jealous, so he frees Dib to assist in defeating future Zim. It's overall a good episode. It was nice to see Zim and Dib team up, and that's about it. Moving on. So some random aliens from Earth come to get Zim's syrup he has made, and to get it from him, they threaten to do bad things to Dib, thinking that Zim and Dib are friends. So Zim doesn't really care all that much and watches Dib get tortured. But Dib stole the syrup from Zim's lab earlier on, and he swallows it when he gets abducted by the aliens. And then he digested it and turned into a monster, and he's chasing Zim. And it just ends with it feeling like once the table's turned, it's kind of anticlimactic in a way, where it's like once the table finally turned in Dib's favor, it just ends. This one is about Gaz, with her having to play along with Dib because she gave him a potion that will make him explode if he becomes unhappy, and has to keep him happy until the chemical leaves his body. Overall, it's a cool comic. I like the concept. I wish that they were able to put this to the show. It's good. This one is focused on Miss Bitters, this teacher at Zim's school, with her being late, and the kids talking about her origin, or their speculations of her origin, with Dib calling them every one of them stupid, and not making any sense. And this one's okay, but it's a nice change of pace. This one is about Dib scaring Zim by wearing a clown mask and reducing him to a mess, and tries to scare Dib back, with him even sending him to space. And there's a reason why he isn't scared, because Dib got his dad to give him a potion, so he isn't scared of anything. Overall, this one's okay. I would say it's enjoyable for the most part. So Dib and Zim have got captured by this alien and agreed to let them go by convincing her that they deserve it more than the other, going back and forth with stories being heroic and stuff like that. And the alien never planned on letting them go. Instead, they actually are a producer using these stories to create a show, only for everybody to hate it, and they send them back anyways. Overall, it's a good one. I like it from a comedy aspect. This one was funny, actually. This one is about Zim being jealous of an alien with the tallest because he gets all the positions and decides to get an easy title so the tallest will respect him. He decides to take over a restaurant called the Burrito King and takes it over from this guy, who comes back learning bean bending. He doesn't even use it on Zim, he just uses the trap that he already had there to begin with. Overall, it's okay. Moving on. This one is about the school's parents doing a career day basically and talking about what they do. Zim wasn't planning on doing it, but his robot parents show up, pretending to be zookeepers. So Zim has a bio oven to create a zoo, and plans on relying on Gur to tell him about Earth animals. Being as you expect, the animals aren't even close to normal animals, and then the law enforcement gets involved and then it gets taken down, with Zim's parent going to jail, with Dib being heckled for blaming the actions of their parents on their kids. Which is funny. I like this one. This one is about Zim binge watching a show, having Zim's latest creation take over the Earth, rethink it, and then rebuilds the Earth and goes to different planets to repair those planets. Overall, it's okay. Moving on. This one is about Zim and everyone else switching bodies. Zim goes into Gaz's body and Gaz goes into Zim's body. Gur goes into Dib's body, stuff like that. This leads to Gaz wanting to take over the Earth, with Gaz betting she can do it faster than Zim, and then Zim gets banished and Gaz takes over. This one is kind of weird, where it's just weird in the fact it's confusing on how this works. They switch characteristics with Zim playing games constantly, because he switched into Gaz's body. But Gaz still plays games even as Zim, so what? This one was just weird and didn't make any sense. This one is about Zim trying to affect the astrosphere with Cheeto dust, and Gur keeps messing up because of a virus. His plan going into an overall weird phase. Overall, this one is fine, nothing really much. It stops being about Gur slowly after a while. Overall, it's okay, moving on. Issue 23. This is about the virus that makes Gur want to kill Zim, which is similar to an already existing episode. Zim is entering Gur's mind and becomes convinced that Hawk, being an alien Zim works for, and it turns out giving Gur a virus was a trap to lure Zim into his head, and Zim activates the antivirus and sees the message left for him. It led with Zim wanting revenge, but Gur deletes it, and that's overall it. It's an okay one. I like the art style and the colors, it was nice. Zim finds out where he lives in this place called Cyberflox, going there, and it's basically like a black market kind of deal where it's taken over by a corporation, and he disguises himself as a janitor, asking everyone about Verrex. Zim talks to this one guy and a firefight breaks out. This catches the attention of gang leaders who are led by this guy called Gobo, who thinks it was Zim that tried to take over his territory. Zim is led into a trap by them in which he thinks he's a part of Verrex, and then he's abducted by a ship. Zim then confronts Verrex, and his intention was from stopping him from sucking, and that's it. Overall, I thought it was okay. Wasn't fully expecting the gangster element to be in Invader Zim and being honest, but then again it's a comic, so they can get away with a lot more. This one starts with Verrex being an admirer of Zim, and feels like he's been downhill ever since he's been tasked with taking over Earth, and he wants to replace him. He calls up Gur to get him, the Voot Runner, to come rescue him. Verrex is already trying to transfer his body into Zim, but Zim gets back into his body and leaves Vertex trapped, and then they return to Earth, and that's it. Overall, I like this one, it was decent. This one is about Gur going to their school, with Gur wearing an awful disguise but people buying it, with Zim and Dib being able to spot him. Dib tried to say he's a robot and then they call him a bully. Dib keeps following him, but it turns out he was just there to visit Zim and to learn more about the humans by being friends with them. But then it turns out Gur didn't have his memory card in, and so they find his memory card, and the only secrets that they told Gur was like useless drama, so yeah, Zim makes him delete it, and that's basically it. Overall, it's a nice comic. I kind of wish they played around with this idea in the show, with Gur like going to her school. This one is about Zim finding another alien base under his, and Gur knocks on it, and it's owned by an alien named Zurzai. He took over Earth a century ago, the underground Earth that is, and this is starting to sound like Undertale. Zurzai declares war on Zim with his exploding holes, with Zim returning the favor with his blurred beavers. And that's it. He got Zim whatever he wanted, and that's it. Overall, I think it's okay. It reminds you of that one episode where he had to deal with those two aliens. This one is about Zim and Gur traveling, with them fighting a missing research team who mistakes Zim for their commander. And he takes advantage, and they explode this time accelerator thing, which leads to Zim being aged a lot. Overall, it's a decent one. This one is about Dib, and a flavor of soda called Poop Cola. He owes it to Gas to get her some, as a dark poop replacement, but Gur bites all of it. After getting into some trouble over it, someone forces him to drink all the flavors, in which he goes on an astral trip to see Zim as the key to stopping this. And that's it. We just hit it with a to be continued, and overall it was okay. This one opens up with Dib trying to join the Poop Watch group, with him bringing him to Zim to get some, in which he takes some from Gur and then takes the gas and doesn't take it to the other people. And overall it's okay, a nice continuation to the other one, nothing really much. This one is about Dib finding this mutant bird and thinking it was Zim, but Zim denies ever making it, and instead Dib decides to investigate a carnival in which he finds this thing called goop, but it's revealed that the ice cream Dib found there was contaminated by Fat Boy, the ice cream brand. And then they had to destroy it. Dib tells them that he got contaminated by the ice cream because he was close enough to the ice cream. He had to shave his head bald, and then he got hit with hot water, and then he gets fucked up by birds. That Zim, that was his plan the whole time with birds. And overall I thought it was okay. This one is about a fitness contest with Zim wanting to win so he could break the president's neck, and he will be rewarded. None of them win, it goes to someone else, and that's really it. Overall it's okay for the most part. This one is about Zim trying to win this fair to take over the world, with Dib trying to beat him, which Gur by accident replaces Zim's project with a creation called Mr. Wiener, and he wins, but it's not really a win. This one's alright for the most part. It's okay, I guess. Zim visits space prison, in which he pays them to imprison people for him. He forgets to pay, so they put him in prison. So he's just stuck there getting beaten. And then he finds his carving underneath his bunk bed telling him he has a plan to escape. And then he thinks about it, and then we get hit with a to be continued. Overall it's okay, not bad. This one's about Zim paying his bill after attempting to escape, and that's really it. Overall, I find it enjoyable. It's okay for the most part. This one is about Zim exploring candy, and he goes to this factory in which he is captured by kids and is now forced to eat candy flesh. However, Gur eats it, and that's mainly how it ends, with Gur eating all the candy. And this one's okay, nothing more really. This one is about Zim going to Dib's house, claiming to be his brother, and even wears his clothes. But it's revealed to be a simulation and was using Dib as a test subject. And this was a bit better. Reminds you of that one episode where Zim puts him through an actual simulation to make it seem like he won, just to admit he threw paper at him. This one is about the people thinking Gur is dead and not knowing he's a robot, with Zim attempting to make him a new disguise, but Gur dressed up like Dib for a day, in which other kids think the real Dib is an imposter and chase him out. But Gas helps get everyone to think the imposter Dib, aka Gur, is dead, so Gur can go back to the robot form, in which people still think Dib is a zombie now. Overall, it's okay for the most part. This one is about Dib and Gaz and Zim being captured on a ship with all of them escaping without Gur. This one is just about Dib and Zim blaming each other for it, and overall it's just okay in my book. This one is about simple tales that didn't happen, so not canon, it's just random tales. So a universe that's nice all the time, there's a universe that takes place in musical form, kind of like a play, and a universe where Dib is a supervillain. Overall, these stories are fine, I guess, a nice change of pace. This one is about Dib participating in his dad's experiment to allow someone's emotions on the outside. This experiment doesn't seem to work at first, and then his skeleton escapes his body, and then we just kind of see his skeleton wander off in his antics. We also see what Zim's plan is, but it's nothing really much, it's just average. It's okay for the most part. This one opens with Dib chasing Zim in space, and then Dib wakes up on a planet, someone named Plib. The planet is surrounded by a force field that makes it inhabitable, and Zim wanting to be the leader of it. The comic ends with the reveal that there's weapons in their vault, and Dib decides to try to stop Zim. Overall, it's okay. It's decent plot-wise. There's been worse, but it's alright. Zim is winning the support of Plib, with Dib not winning, and Zim's plan is to destroy the planet in order to destroy the force field. But what they don't realize is the force field was to hide from Zim's species, who then mistakes Dib for an invader. And it's found out that the weapons in the vault aren't actually weapons at all at the end. Overall, I like this one, it's cool. It's nice to see like the more species that they have in the Invader Zim universe and like who they're against. This one is about Dib's dad taking Dib and Gaz on a family trip, which on the trip Dib suspects Zim of being onto him, and he discovers that he's luring skiers into a decoy waffle shop. They wrapped him up and shipped him to an alien retailer. Dib has beaten Zim and everyone's free, in which they just made the line longer, in which Gaz is annoyed by that. I thought this one was nice, a nice change of pace between the action ones and the related ones. This one is about Zim growing attached to this thing called a little meat man, and then they're on a road trip, but then someone made him realize that he was just a wad of meat, then he feeds it to dolphins, and that's basically it. Overall, it's okay. It's a nice one, I guess. This comic is about Zim wondering why his plans always fail, and fears the tallest will be disappointed with him. He thinks an Irken might replace him, so he decides to follow the signal. Meanwhile, Dib fears him meeting up with an Irken is a team up to take over the world, so he tries to beat him to the signal, in which they enter a quadrangle in which there is a multiple crash voot runners, in which he is taken captive by one of the Irkens. And it's revealed that there is multiple copies of Zim, and that's how the issue ends. Overall, I like the setup for the plot leading into the next one. It really makes you want to like read the next one. This one it's revealed all of the counterparts from different timelines. With Zim being mad, he has to work in the city sewers, but he changes when he learns that there's a hierarchy, which it quickly becomes mad how slow he's moving up, so he challenges the highest ranking one. It's then revealed that there's this muster-bound Zim called Invader Zim 100. Overall, it's overall an okay one, I guess. Zim tried to fight Invader Zim 100. But he got overpowered, and he only really won because of Dib getting involved. The comic ends with a reveal of a different version of Dib who was disguised as a first version of Invader Zim. Overall, I like this one. It makes sense. It makes sense for Zim wanting to fight the biggest ranked one, only to win by chance. So I will give a point for that. Overall, it's a good one. Another version of Dib explains why. That's because in his timeline he wasn't actually able to beat Zim and reverse technology, Irken technology, in order to use this weapon he called Electrical Magical Pulse, the weapon that could destroy the technology he used and remove all Irkens from everything. This sounds like something else. Anyways, both of them get out of there and both of them claim that they're the best version of themselves. Zim claiming he's the ultimate Zim and Dib claiming he's the ultimate Dib. Overall, it's okay, not bad. This one is about a new student in Zim and Dib's class, and also thinks that Zim and Dib are the perfect friends. She wants them to be friends, and even at the end of the comics, when shit hits the fan, and she still thinks that they could be friends even at the end of the comic when shit hits the fan and after the usual Dib and Zib antics. Overall, it's okay, fine. I was expecting a bit more from the final comic, but it's okay.